What's up, everybody? Here again with my friend Lewis. Probably not the best way to, connect back with you guys after a semifinals exit, but we got lots to talk about. How you doing today, bro?
Hey, Arnoldo, it's good to see you, man. Doing well. Yeah, it wasn't a great exit, but we got next season, so hopefully we get our act together in the off season and get something going for next season.
I hope that doesn't become repetitive, though. Let's next season because that's what I thought the first season was going to be like when we were done with Leon in the semifinals against. But like I mentioned, lots to talk about, bro. We'll kick it off with the game. I mean, what are your thoughts about the game? We're leading up to the game. There was a lot of social media support, more than Tigres typically rallies behind, or the fans rally behind the team, but this time felt a little different. Like everybody was confident, and that knowing that the squad that we have that gives us that confidence, or that like soberbia, as people like to say, that we have with our team. But we have the talent. So leading up to the game, what were your thoughts? What were you thinking? And then once the game started, what were your thoughts on that?
Well, we had a really bad game one, man, and I think we talked pre-game about how we needed to have a decent game on the road, and
Mm-hmm.
so that game just killed everything, in my opinion. Especially once we got down 2-0, I think the smart thing would have been like, let's just stay down 2-0
Yeah.
and wrap it up. And then we ended up giving up another one really sloppy defending by Lichnowsky. So I was very disappointed after game one. And then I had the same reaction as everybody else. I was disappointed, kind of frustrated. And then once I got past those feelings, I said, hey, let's just go all out. Win, lose, or draw, we're at home. Let's get behind the team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if we can make a miracle happen. Kind of like the Aztecaso, we had the Aztecaso several years back, and I was having the same thoughts. I was like, we can do it this time. We're at home. So I was really pumped up, and I was kind of confident that we would have a reaction and we'd at least put up a fight, which we did. Was really happy about that.
I want to go back to a point you quickly said about, the score in the first leg, the 2-0, because I thought the same thing. I thought when we went down 2-0, at that point Atlas had dominated us in every aspect of the game. And God, I had not seen a team walk over us like that. Even when we played against Pachuca earlier in the season, like they put a spanking on us, but it wasn't as bad as Atlas dominating us on every single line, on defense and the midfield, the attack. So going down 2-0 at El Volcan, it seems like even though you're going down 2-0, it's a reasonable game to come back from. But after the third one, and especially pa que la cuña apriete with Julian Quiñones, man, I was disappointed. But in the past the eliminations, you kind of have that anger like moment, and didn't have that. I feel like the team was fully defeated from the get go, and like I said, in all aspects. So going into this game and having all this support and rallying behind the team, I thought that the energy of like it's going to be possible. Something's going to happen tonight. It's going to be spectacular, whether we lose the overall leg or both games to advance to the final. But knowing that the team gave it all, and damn, they gave it all.
It was a super exciting game, man. And I think as the game moved on, it got more exciting because we didn't score early like I thought we could or we should. But the fans never gave up. And so that was one thing I felt like the crowd was pushing us. And anytime the crowd gets behind us like that, the team always reacts. And so there was a ton of energy in that stadium. And once that first goal happened, I knew here it comes, man. I even
Yeah,
started doing a countdown on Twitter, like, two more to go,
yeah.
three more to go. And I was like, man, this is awesome. Like I knew we were gonna start scoring in bunches then. And just the energy in the stadium was fantastic, man. It was super awesome.
Would you say that was probably? I thought it was, if not the best, probably top two, top three performance since Piojo arrived in that second half. Overall, as a
Yeah,
team.
that was great. I mean, the team went all out. I mean, sadly, it was only 45 minutes really, because if you look at the first half, Atlas did a great job of kind of controlling us, even though we
Mm-hmm.
were we were generating some chances, but they controlled the game for the most part.
Yep.
But once we got that first score, I think they knew we were coming, and it was a fantastic 45 minutes of soccer.
And it's kind of disappointing, man, because we said 45, we say 45 minutes, and we go back to the quarterfinals games too, and we were down 10 men in both games. The first game against Atlas, we get completely dominated. So that game at home was, the performance that we wanted to see from the get-go. And when the playoffs started or La Liguilla started, so having that, adversity and, knowing that the type of players that, we have, and, those guys demonstrated with a Gignac hat trick, Pizarro played out of his mind, Nahuel played out of his mind, alongside other players who played out of their mind. But we finally got it in only a short 45 minutes. So I think overall the team almost defeated itself, as the season was coming to an end and the playoffs started. It almost seemed like if we got to the championship, it was almost like undeserving, but the performance made it to where we felt like, damn, this is what we expect to see at all times.
If you look at it, our woes started around week 13, week 14. Yeah. And ever since then, we've only had sparks of brilliant play, like against Toluca here, 45 minutes against Atlas there. But really, if you just look at the last 6 weeks, the body of work, it's been too little too late for us.
Yep.
And so I felt like Atlas deserved it better because they put a better overall performance in 180 minutes than we
Absolutely
did. And so they were worthy. I felt they were the more balanced team. They were more in control emotionally too. I felt even though they felt the heat in the second half, in the second leg, they still stayed poised. And so overall, I think the better team advanced.
And it shows that championship pedigree comes into play, because they were dogs out there. They played from the first minute of the first leg. They knew what they were doing, what they were, up against, and they were not scared. So props to them. I thought it was a great matchup. Shows a lot about how soccer is progressing in Mexico and what you can do with less talent, just like Larcamón and Puebla, but now Diego Coca on the way to back-to-back. So I want to kind of close that segment off about the game and with the lineup disaster. We just had a press conference from Tigres with Culebro and Sancho and Piojo Herrera. And so what are your thoughts on that? Did you feel like it was worthy of him being fired? You and I both talked about it. We share similar things on the matter, but I want to know what you thought overall about the lineup disaster. And then Piojo, is he worthy of staying with Tigres with this kind of nonsense?
I had a lot of issues with Piojo overall especially those last few weeks against Cruz Azul, against Atlas, and even towards the end of the season, messing around with the lineup too much. We said going into the Liguilla that he needed to just use his best 11 and then have a handful of subs that he can count on, and he didn't do that. And so I think that's what partly got him into trouble with the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Once that Atlas game started and the second leg started and he was way behind on the score and he was desperate, it started to make him make decisions emotionally instead of objectively thinking about what he needed to do. And I think in both games, he didn't put the starting 11 that he needed right off the bat. That messed him up. And then in the heat of the moment, he goes and just makes this huge mistake, which you saw today would have cost us the game anyway. Even if we had advanced on that 4-1 win, we would have lost it on the table, which is 2-0. Frankly embarrassing, man, because you have a head coach and entire body of coaches there, assistant coaches, that between them couldn't put together one solid head, one solid brain. And so honestly, I feel like Piojo, either way, even if he has a good season next season, we need to part ways with him.
I agree.
He's not the fit. He's not the fit for this team. He's not the coach for this team. And honestly, we need somebody who's more serious. The whole thing after losing against Atlas, 2 days later, he's off to some show where he's acting like a clown on national TV. And, here we are, the fans grieving the loss, and he's over there goofing around. It's just a bad look. Yeah. And I know we wanted a coach that was more outgoing than Tuca, that was more available to the media than Tuca, but that's not the kind of coach we want. We don't want
Yeah.
a coach that's a clown, that's goofing around, that makes excuses, that's emotional. So we're keeping him, I believe, just because it's practical,
Yep.
it's pragmatic to do so. It's not the right moment to kind of part ways with him, but I think next season, at the end of it, I think regardless of what happens, we need to part ways.
Yeah, and I think that what the last 2 seasons, besides, some philosophical way of like approaching the game and how it's played, um, other than that, the team functions on star and squad depth. And so I think any coach that would have replaced Tuca that was decent enough could have done just as much as Piojo did, if not maybe quarterfinals, but definitely a liguilla, and still no championship. So I think that because it's a World Cup that's coming up, you let them play out, like you say, and finish out this upcoming season. But it's after the World Cup. It's a good time to part ways. But I think it's championship. If he wins the championship, maybe he stays in the conversation of like, possibly continuing on. But if he doesn't win it, I think it's just best to let go of him. Like you said, he's not the ideal coach that we want. Tigres should not be involved in a situation where the rules are broken. That's not. It doesn't go with what the brand is doing, and what the organization and the club is doing as far as like being the prominent teams in Mexico. So having avoiding that scandal was probably for the best. And so good thing Atlas won with the fair and square with the PK at the end.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the only way he keeps his job is if next season's completely flawless.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean flawless just on the pitch. I mean flawless off the pitch too.
Yep.
This year, if you think about it, he's had a lot of drama. Nothing super major besides this one incident with the lineup. He had he had also the national team thing where he was kind of postulating himself for the national team. And that created a lot of locker room frustration and people talking. And so it needs to be completely flawless next season. And he needs to show that he's at least learning from his mistakes. But
we both agree he's not ideal.
No, I mean, it's the Piojo that we know consistently does this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it just hurts our image.
Yeah. Yeah, he brings a lot, man, and that's kind of what, like, it's a year in review and at the coaching helm, and that's kind of one of my talking points. It's like the brand did grow with him, and it there's a lot of positives that came out. We had back-to-back scoring champs with Nico and Gignac. We've had the best offense this last season. I think the season before that we might have been second, if not first. I can't recall during his first season. So the brand has grown and all that things that I mentioned, and so. The only thing that I still like would probably see as a negative thing, and I mentioned it to you, is like, okay, so this guy comes in, we know that he's won championships. We know the type of chaotic coach that he can be. But one thing that I couldn't get past through, or, as far as my experience with him and watching him, was the formation change, man. Like you mentioned a lot of the changes. I also thought the approach, like the way to play the game, kind of like he was just second guessing himself and not really zoning in on what he wanted to do on the pitch with the players that he has available. So I think that, playing three in the back, which played great for us for most of the season, and then, playing four in the back, I think there were some instances where we looked good as well. But it's just like, what are we playing at? Are we just writing out the fact that we have really talented players and they can figure it out on the field? Or do you have the capability to like make the team better? And I think that that's where he has lacked to propel us to that other level that we were striving to get to, that Tuca was probably holding us back, as people were saying, as with not letting them play and letting them be loose on the field. So I think it's a good point.
He flip-flopped a lot. He started out the season with four in the back, and then he realized that wasn't working, then went with five, so three center backs and two wing backs. And that was great for a little while, and then he decided to go back to four in the back, and a lot of personnel change in the back, with the back line being your biggest weakness. I think all those changes can't possibly help. So you had a rotation of Reyes, Lichnowsky, Ayala, Purata. They were a constant. constant swing there, and I think that hurt the team. I think ideally he wants to play with four,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have the personnel, which is contradictory
Yeah.
because
I was gonna
before the
say.
season he kept saying he had everybody he needed.
Yeah.
He didn't need any more players,
And
and then it just doesn't show on the pitch.
And the thing is, like, you could play the way that he wants to play, but the players are not made to play. Aquino, as great of a season he had, Dueñas took over the right spot for Chaka. Dueñas can't play in a 4-4-2 anymore, where he's the lone like guy out there on an island. He's not going to do it. You know what I mean? He's aged and he's not that type of player. But playing three in the back allowed him to be more comfortable because he can use the length of the field and the width of the field to defend in a better way. So I think that he has the personnel, but he doesn't have the personnel at the right age anymore. And so I think that with that being said, like, moving on to like next segment that I want to talk about is the squad. So I wanted to talk to you about like, what you thought the team needs are and, what you think actually might come in. Is there some players that you think are going to for sure go? What are your thoughts on the offseason? What do we need to do to be better and actually get this championship this upcoming season?
I'd like to see 2 elite center backs come.
Yeah,
that would be ideal. But honestly, if we can get one, that would be awesome. I know that there's been talk about Gustavo Gomez.
that would be
Nino
awesome.
Mota was on our radar for a little while. We need top talent like that. And I also feel like we need a right back. Dueñas, you mentioned it, he's aging, and he does pretty good of patching everything back there.
Yeah.
But you saw it against Atlas, where they have younger, speedier players, and he struggled a ton.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one spot that we're going to need to fill. I think Javier Aquino on the left is still holding on, but that's one that maybe 2 seasons down the road we need to fill. The other spot that I think we need is a left winger. We need somebody to compete with Luis Quiñones, and somebody that can kind of flip over.
I was going to say
Soteldo, I'm still on the fence on. I don't know if he's the guy for us or not, but at the same time, I don't feel like we need to let him go. The players I feel like we definitely need to get rid of are Aldo Cruz, Chaka, Lichnowsky, Cordova is another one, Charlie Gonzalez, and then Diente only if we can get a really, really solid deal for him.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I think he needs to stay, especially since we have Conca Champions coming up.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much on the same page with you. I think we need a starting right back. We need a starting center back. I think I'd be okay playing Angulo there if we bring just one center back in. But if the angle is to play Angulo as a left back, or the idea is to play as a left back, which I think at this point, man, I don't know if it's the best. Obviously, he can play there, but I think the best roster approach would be to play him as your left center back. He's great at it. It allows Aquino to also still play, and he's a player that's really conditioned, so don't really got to worry about too much on his agent because he still has the pace. But I think you bring a great center back, a top talent, like you said. And then I'm thinking more of a right winger, dude. I'm thinking someone that can, and like you said, to play on both sides, but I'm thinking more of a right winger because if there's one thing that I saw this season with Duvan was not only that he's definitely someone that can get hurt and injured at any point, but he can also slide in and play behind Gignac. And one of the things that I saw with Diente is like that if Florian was not there, it was really hard to establish the type of game that Tigres is known for to play through the wings, because Diente is not able to do that, and he's not going to pull Fulgencio there. Soteldo, he didn't try there because he tried Quiñones there and Soteldo on the left side. So I think it's got to be someone on the right side that can play on the left side to compete with Luis Quiñones, because I think that guy is not coming off the bench unless that guy completely, does something catastrophic where he doesn't no longer play for the team. But Piojo is in love with that man.
Oh yeah.
So,
I have a feeling he might be his illegitimate son or something because he loves him to death, man.
But I'm with you on letting go of Charlie. I'm letting on Aldo Cruz, Venegas, Chaka Rodriguez. I think you can also. I'd be okay with Fulgencio also. Doesn't really
Yeah.
contribute. I mean, he had more off the field issues than anything than contributions to the squad in the last 2 years, and got to rejuvenate, man. Got to find these positions and bring in young talent to continue the pace of being semifinals, quarterfinals every time, if not a championship.
Piojo was asked point blank today in the press conference about who they were thinking about bringing in, and it was a little concerning because he didn't mention anybody, any spots or anything, and he kept mentioning the cantera. So hopefully that doesn't mean that there are no plans to bring anybody in, because we can't continue with this current squad in the next season. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to let us battle in the league and the Conca Champions. And so hopefully I'm reading too much into it and it's nothing, but there was no mention of any center backs, no right backs, no wingers, nothing. So we'll see what happens there.
Ideally, we get the right back from the Mexican league. Ideally. And
Kevin Alvarez type.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's the guy you got to go get him. There's America's not going to go pay for him. They got Jorge Sanchez. Rayados would be the only other team that would go pay for him. They paid for Eric Aguirre not too long ago, so they're not going to go after him. And they have their defense set, so that he leaves one other powerhouse team to go bid on him, especially after the season that he's had, and then now he's in the final. I think he's destined to go. Pachuca's not going to keep him. It's better to sell him. They win the championship, not win the championship. I think Tigres already has a tag on him. It's just a matter of just waiting it out. I think the center back has to come from South America. You mentioned a couple of guys earlier, Junior Alonso, Gustavo Gomez also has been rumored in the past. El que sea, bro. So give me somebody
off
the Paraguayan national team and bring them to start for us, and we're set in the back. But I think Cordova sticks out, bro. I don't think we do. I think he gets another shot. I mean, he didn't really play much. When he did, he was lost, but it doesn't seem like he's going to really compete. But he's going to be useful in the Champions League for the CONCACAF. So
word on the street, though, with Cordova is that Jimmy Lozano wants him at Necaxa.
Hey.
And apparently Tigres is sweet on that. So
is it a loan, though?
Yeah, a potential
loan. With a loan. Even if he doesn't play for us again, let me get some of that future sale.
So we'll see how that ends up. So
I saw Charlie Gonzalez possible to Toluca. Diente Lopez has been rumored to go to Toluca. I don't think they get both. I'm hoping they take Charlie. I'm like, ooh, come on, get away from Monterrey, bro.
Not Chambris really wants Diente, but word on the street also is that Diente wants to stay. He wants another shot. So
I mean, when you get paid that money and you live in Monterrey, it's pretty easy to be convinced.
But living like a king.
Absolutely, bro. So we mentioned we're back officially in the Champions League. I didn't realize how much you were unsure if we were gonna get in or not. When I texted you were like, "Oh, it's official now," and I was like, "Yeah," it just went on. There was a lot of people unsure about it because no one really knows what the system is for qualifying. But I guess from what I gather is second place. We got second in the seeding. That's the point.
I have no idea. Because why was it relevant that America had to lose against Pachuca? I don't understand how that was relevant.
I'm thinking it had to do on points, either on points or the fact that we just finished second like this season, and so they give it to like this current season.
You know how I like to qualify for Conca Champions by winning the title, the league title. That's how I like to qualify.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, let's just win it and then we get into Conca Champions. Yeah. But this whole other thing, how we finished on the table, that's side business.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's conviene that Tigres is in it. So
it's gonna be great, especially after Liga MX really didn't have a great showing this last time. So
dude,
it's gonna be some great games.
And honestly, like even the way that we got in, like it's not the best, but honestly, I have to be like a selfish fan and like realize that Gignac, he's on his way out, bro. And like you gotta set him up to win as many championships as he can, because not only obviously that he wants to win them, but for us, the fan base, like we're losing on Nahuel, Gignac, Pizarro, like in the next year and a half. I think that's the most we got him for us at a top level. Maybe
and keep in mind Diente Lopez didn't make Club World Cup last time
Yeah,
because of the whole COVID thing.
exactly.
So he's gonna be pumped to try to go. You know.
So back in the Champions League, hopefully we win for that. But so we got to bring in 4 players. You think 4 new players? Let go of 2 or
Yeah,
3.
that's ideal. 3 minimum, 4 ideally.
Yeah.
If we can land 1 center back, 1 right back,
A winger.
we'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
But I'm a little concerned after today's press conference.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I thought we were gonna move to a point of being actually more transparent. Like you know how Santos has you seen their like Twitter like messages of like press releases? They're awesome. Like they're ahead of their game, dude. Like I've always loved what they do with their social medias.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with today's press conference, man. There was nothing there that I didn't see coming before the press conference.
Yeah,
It was just an apology for what had happened, and
should have put that in a letter, dude, and just
we're gonna
put
do
it in
better
an
next
image.
season. And
Yeah,
exactly. You don't need to show up. There was nothing there.
yeah. So, but it is what it is, my friends. So, last couple of things that we got. There's a friendly game in Texas this summer, June 22nd at Toyota Park in San Antonio.
Toyota Park.
I think I've actually been to that stadium before. They got like a little setup on the side behind the goal that it's kind of like a bar area, kind of like similar with a Dynamo, but less. It's more like a high school stadium. Are you going?
I'll be there. Yeah,
Yeah,
Wednesday night.
yeah. Wednesday at
Games
7.
flip-flop between 7:30 and 8 p.m. So I've gotten several emails saying no, it's 8, no,
Oh
it's
yeah.
7:30.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
keep an eye out on that.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll be driving in. We go back to training on the 10th for medical exams. So that'll be almost 2 weeks later. So works out. It'll probably be game to catch some rhythm. The season starts a lot earlier this year. Liga MX returns July 1st because of the World Cup. So a lot of exciting things. We just need the players to come in, or potential new players to come in and get on the in el barco.
Fingers crossed, man. Hopefully we land some good ones.
And last thing, brother, Tigres Femenil partnership with Angel City FC. How awesome is that?
Man, that is awesome. I think the femenil is doing it right. They're growing the brand like crazy, which is what they wanted all along. They wanted fans from the U.S. And I announced a brand new player. I think a San Diego native, Washington State alum. So there's a rumor for another one. Toronto national
the Canadian
team.
girl. Yeah, the Canadian girl. Yeah, she's a right. She's a right back from what I saw. And defensive.
Oh, dude. I mean, we're just gonna continue
to
to grow, and I'm super pumped up. Disappointed that we didn't get it done this year. I thought we had the weapons to do it, but I think we're only gonna grow.
Reflecting though, I think that was the best thing that could have happened for them. I don't think so on the men's side, but on the women's side, I think that was probably for the best. I think that they haven't had a regular rest like for off season. They've played so many games. They've gone to so many liguillas, and I think it's a good time to regroup and see what has not worked and what you could do to change it and move forward with it. So I think it's a good place to like change the gears.
Yeah, the rest thing is definitely a big one because you have at least 7 players regularly called up to the national team, and so you're not getting any rest. Dude, so while the rest of the team's trying to chill out, they're out there.
What is it?
Hustling,
6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8? I can't remember final appearances.
7 out of 8, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of games. So I thought that, even though, we always want the championship, I think that for the girls to come back better and stronger, motivated to, have that hunger to win, I think it was for the best. I think that the new players got a little taste and a glimpse of what it's like to be the dominant team, to be the team that they go after that doesn't get all the calls and, everybody hates because, they're the powerhouse. I think that was good. I think it's a good time for them to grow and as a team. So I'm excited for that.
They'll definitely be fired up next season because they wanted it. They wanted it and they didn't get it. And I think it's just going to make them work harder to go after it. And I think they know what to expect. The league has grown overall.
Mhm.
So teams are tougher. They defend better.
Yeah.
And so now they know what to expect next season. And hopefully Tigres continues to dominate.
Yeah, have to, man. They're just as important as the men's for the brand to grow, and they play a big role in things like partnership with the NWSL team, do great things for the team in Monterrey.
Game is August 10th. So I'm going to try to give away a pair of tickets to somebody that
I
I don't
saw
think I'm going to
that.
be able to make the trip, but I'm going to try to see if somebody from the LA area can go.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm not gonna make it either. I'll be in Colorado Springs for a bachelor party, but gonna go golf, man. Not the best at it, but I'm going on a golf bachelor
I'm to
party.
work on that swing, man.
Yeah, dude, no kidding. But where can we find you on Twitter?
I'm at Tigres_English.
Cool. And I'm at La U Times with the underscore in between La and U, and then U and Times. So you can find me there. Find us both there. Thank you, Louis, for your time. And hopefully we get some great news during the offseason with new arrivals.
Thank you, Arnoldo. Let's do it again in the future. And it's great talking to you always.
Absolutely, my friend. Cheers.